Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. That's right, it's another Tuesday with Thoughts and Coffee. My name is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. I am the founder and host of Let's Talk Supply Chain, and we are here with you every Tuesday morning for Thoughts and Coffee. And I cannot wait to dive in to the articles that we've got, the topics that we're going to be talking about. But first, plus, Audrey is going to be back as my co-host for this episode. She was a host while I was in the UK for a couple of weeks, and I had some ear issues, and so she totally took the reins and killed it, and I'm super grateful for her and so glad that she's back. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what is happening at Let's Talk Supply Chain. So what is happening? We've got a brand new show that came out yesterday, and this is like the Sarah sandwich because it's Sarah Scudder and I talking all about sustainable packaging trends. Her and I did a webinar for the Canadian Health Food Association probably about a month and a half ago or so. And I loved everything that she was talking about, all the tidbits that she was giving around sustainable packaging. And of course, because I've got my LinkedIn learning course about sustainable supply chain foundations coming out, I wanted to talk about packaging because packaging is one of the easiest ways for you to get started on your sustainability journey within your organization. So if you haven't gone to check it out, go and check it out because we are talking everything sustainable packaging, and you can find it over on our website. You can find it on Apple and Spotify. So go and check that out. Plus, we've got some brand new events coming up. So right after this, literally right after Thoughts and Coffee, I'm hanging up from you guys and I'm going straight into a webinar with E2 Open. And we're talking about manufacturing with excellence. We're going to be talking about collaborative manufacturing and what that means for you. We've got a lot of people talking about what they're going to be doing with their manufacturing. Are they going to be keeping it where it is? Are they going to be looking for new sources, new suppliers? Are they going to be bringing it back and shoring it, in North America or Europe? And so we're going to be talking about all of that. So if you're not registered for this, go to the Let's Talk Supply Chain LinkedIn page. We've got the events post, I think a couple of posts down, and you can register for this event. It is not too late. Then on September 23rd, I'm going to be talking about real automation for real supply chains with the team over at Easy Mile. They've got some really, really cool robots that they are deploying across the globe. And I can't wait to share all of that with you in this particular webinar. Actually, no, it's a LinkedIn Live. So we're going to be live streaming this one on the Let's Talk Supply Chain, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And then we've got Manifest coming out. So Manifest, again, is in January. It's going to be in Las Vegas. It's going to be in person, and it's going to be all about supply chain. So hopefully you guys can make it to these particular events. We would love to see you. I would love to see everybody in person too. If you saw my buddy check post last Friday, you know that I was able to meet Susan Walsh in person in the UK while I was there. And it was amazing just to really see each other in person. It was kind of surreal, to be honest with you, because we had seen each other on screens for so long. But it was really great. So hopefully, for the in-person conferences that are coming back in 2022, we'll be able to see you there. What else have I got? So we've got LogTech Live. LogTech Live is happening, I believe it's next Friday. It's the first Friday of every single month. And Eric Johnson is the host of that show, and it's live across all of our social media channels. Not sure who his guest is going to be, but we had a really, really, really good first episode with him. A lot of really great feedback. So make sure to check that out, 10 a.m. Eastern. And then we've got a brand new show coming out in September, and that's with Topple, and they're going to be talking about sustainability and blockchain. And that's going to be happening on the third Wednesday of every month. I believe it's at noon Eastern, and I cannot wait to share that one with you as well. All right, so enough about that. Let's bring up Audrey. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, you know.
It's another morning, is it?
It's like a Monday of Tuesdays. I'm not sure. I had some tech issues this morning and I was like, fine, maybe I won't use the computer. Maybe the screen will just stay black, even though I restarted it twice and it's new. Um, I'll just go and make myself a latte and come back and see what
Okay.
happens. But
So
it turned on.
speaking of lattes, and before you introduce yourself, I
Yeah.
have to let everybody know that I fell in love with coconut milk cappuccinos while I was in the UK. So it
Yes.
inspired me to buy just a one, like a single kind of cappuccino maker, I guess. And yesterday was abysmal. Yesterday was my first day with it, and it was abysmal. I mean, I had to get a coffee grinder and I had to get anyways, it's been a whole process. And
Yeah.
then today has been a little bit better. So I'm sipping on my coconut milk cappuccino in my Let's Talk Supply Chain mug. And everybody knows that whoever engages with our live shows the most and our posts on Let's Talk Supply Chain, you could win one of these bad boys at the end of every month. So encouraging everybody to do that. But anyways, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. I just want to say nothing says UK like coconut milk cappuccino. It
Okay.
was
Well,
the
I had to go to special places.
yeah.
Just saying.
Also, I'm super jealous you got to meet Susan Walsh in person. I was
I
like, I
know.
love seeing all the photos. It looked great. So I'm Audrey Ross. I'm here in Toronto, Canada. I am a logistics and custom specialist in-house at Orchard Custom Beauty, which is an award-winning business-to-business private labeling company specializing in cosmetics and beauty accessories and back tools. So
Nice.
I'm getting my little spiel.
That was so good. So good. So Imitiaz says, once I win the mug, will you post it to India? Of course I
Yes.
will. So you just need to comment a lot, a lot. And also, I want to say hello to Khalil. You're coming in from Trinidad and Tobago. My
Yeah.
husband and his family are from Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm super excited to have you here. Obviously, because, the family's from there. So super excited for that. Who else have we got? Oh, Davin really liked the picture of Susan and I.
Yeah.
Thank you, Davin.
There were
Which
some good
picture
ones.
though? Because Susan posted a picture, and then I posted a picture, one with mask and one without mask. So which one? Which one was it that you really liked? And then he says, "Good morning." And Crystal says, making coffee is art. Crystal, I love you because let me tell you, I was going to do a shout out for somebody to come and show me how to use my coffee maker.
That's why you want me to come over tomorrow.
Yes, actually, yes. Can you help me with my coffee maker tomorrow?
Almost 2 years at Starbucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you are showing me how to use. I didn't know that. You are showing me how to
And
use my coffee maker.
back when they actually had to like you didn't press a button. Like back when you actually had to like work, you know.
Well, so this has a steamer and everything,
Oh,
and I'm
see.
getting like a milk frother, but that doesn't come till next week. So right now I'm
Oh,
using a mug. But it's okay. You can show me either way. All right, let's get into this. What are we talking about? So, we've
talking
got the
coffee.
question of the week.
Question
So,
of the
the
week.
question of the week last week was, what do you enjoy doing in your downtime? I love this. We had so many amazing comments. Allison, who is one of our close friends, she was like, "What is downtime?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Really?" I kind of resonate with that because I was like, I haven't had a lot of downtime in the last 18 months. So I really liked that one. What did you think of this, Audrey? What do you do in your downtime? And what does everybody else in the audience do in your downtime? I want to
Yeah,
hear in the
pop it in the
comments.
comments so that we can see what other people are doing because like Allison, I don't have a lot of downtime because I'm trying to get stuff to move all over the world and it's 50 times harder than it used to be. So
It's so true. It's so true. So what do you do? I know you do some yoga.
yeah, I do yoga. I'm looking to get back into this, like actually go to the studio next month. Um,
Nice.
because things are opening up a little bit. What else do I do? I volunteer with Girl Guides. I do that during this sort of the school year, so every Thursday. I read a lot. I think I'm at 50. I've read 59 books or something so far this year. So
What?
yeah,
You're an animal.
yeah, I read a lot. So that's kind of my downtime.
So we've got Larry that says he likes to make pizza. Brian says football manager. See, this is what I was talking about. Allison was like, we're supposed to have downtime. Yes, Allison, you're
Oh,
supposed to
because you're
pick a
supposed to have
hobby
hobbies.
and we're supposed to have some downtime. For me, it's baseball. So I've
Yeah.
just gotten back on the diamond and definitely got some baseball going on right now, which I'm super, super happy about. Although I am a catcher. And I hadn't worked out in a few weeks because I was out in the UK and I played last week and man, my hips did not like me after I played a whole game. But anyways, love, love, love to do that. I love to sing. I'm actually going to be hopefully recording myself sometime soon and maybe releasing a little bit of that. And I also love to read books, but beach is really where I go for my
That's
downtime,
cool.
which I love. I love that. So anyways, I want to say hello to a couple of people over on my personal LinkedIn. We've got Gary. Gary Newbury is joining us. Hello. Kadar. We've got Charles Emiliano, who was a guest a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Joanna, hello. And Sarah's joining us from Chateau Danville. We love that. We've got
bright
Kevin
and early.
well. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me over on my personal LinkedIn. Sarah says for her downtime, she likes to exercise. You know, kind of the same thing. And we've got downtime here, table tennis and Call of Duty. Call of Duty is very, very popular.
I thought there'd be a gamer in there,
yeah. You can play with people around the world, right? So, and Peter says, garden, float in the pool. Is that on a floaty or do you just like lay back and you just like float? I don't know. Golf, home projects, and volunteer on multiple charities and cook. Wow, you are well rounded in your downtime, Peter. I love it. I love it.
But Peter's also like retired a little bit. So his downtime,
he has lots of time.
Just a little.
Got it. Thank you for reminding me because I was kind of feeling like I needed to do more. Peter, you're making me feeling bad about myself. And then Peter says, definitely a floaty. Okay, thank you. Just needed to know that. All right, where are we going now? We are going to our Thoughts and Coffee post from Sunday. So this post, loved sharing it with you. We got a lot of crazy feedback on this. The saying was, when the work gets tough, you get going. And I love this, right? Because I think we've all had a really, really tough time over the last 18 months. And we've had some really rough periods. We're still going through some of those really rough periods, especially if you're Audrey and you're in shipping and you have to deal with all of the stuff that's going on in ocean freight and all of that kind of stuff. But it was just a post to really say, keep going. So what did you think about this when you saw it, Audrey?
Yeah, it's such a, it's about the fortitude. It's about, keeping a good attitude. Especially right now, everyone is, in my orbit is really at the brink. And it's really tough. It is. It's challenging. It's complex. It's tough. It's stressful. It's, where most people like to do a certain level of performance, and you can't meet any of your delivery dates. You can't meet any of your cost targets. You can't, there's just, so the motivation certainly does ebb down. But I think keeping, our spirits up and cheering each other on, I think has been really made me feel supported. And so I think, it's, in some cases, it's like you just have to rally yourself and keep going.
It's so true. We had some great comments. Sophia says that she goes to the spa. Rhonda was saying remembering her why, which I really liked that, right? It's just remembering why you're getting up in the morning and why you're doing those things. Naomi says, I find my motivation in gratitude. Because one of the questions around this particular post was, how do you keep motivated? Right. Sharish says, I usually look to the past and acknowledge my small and large successes, which I liked because I was like, I don't celebrate mine enough in the moment, let alone look back and be like, oh, this is what I've done, which I really liked. And then India says, know your circle of concern versus circle of influence, which I thought was really cool as well.
Yeah, it was such an interesting phrasing, a way to think of it. No, there were so many good, if you haven't caught it, there were so many good motivators and comments in that one.
Yeah, so we will put the link to that. Actually, you know what? I will put the link in right now because I did not give that to AJ. So that was definitely my bad. So I'm going to post that in right now so that you guys can go and see that particular post. So that's in
Oh,
there right now
yours
for
comment
everybody to go and
here.
see. And right before we get into our supply chain topics, okay, I just want to, Peter is still looking for a good unicorn floaty. So if
Oh, we gotta have
anybody
fun.
can send him a link for a good unicorn floaty, please do, because unicorn floaties, like, it's just a must, right? I mean, I can't. All right, let's get to our first article
Our
of
hot
the day.
topic.
All right, so we're talking
Okay.
about Instacart. I think we talked about Instacart last week. I think when we're talking about them again. So Instacart collaborates with Fabric to offer automated fulfillment service. This particular article I thought was cool because they're talking about automation and robotics, obviously. So some of the things that I took away from this particular article is that we are using different terms, which I
Hmm.
thought was very cool. So, one of the terms that I found in this article was fulfillment as a service, which is not something that we've heard a lot of, right? We've got SaaS, we've got all sorts of as a service, but I hadn't heard of fulfillment as a service yet. And they're also talking about how Fabric, because Fabric is an automation and robotics company, they're talking about how Fabric is only the first phase. So they are implementing Fabric into their fulfillment centers, into their stores. They're working with their retailers to be able to utilize Fabric so that they can create efficiencies within the distribution and the warehousing. And what I thought was interesting was that this is just only the first phase for them. And so, if we use that as a benchmark for most of the organizations that may or may not even be looking at automation and robotics, you're already almost going to be behind if we're not looking at it right now, if this is only the first phase. They're also talking about automated micro fulfillment centers. Which is not something we've been talking about a lot, right? Because people are still just looking to automate regular warehouses, let alone micro fulfillment centers. And they're talking about companies like Walmart and Fresh Direct are already on this as well. And they're also talking about building custom fulfillment solutions for their retailers. So this is crazy, right? Because now we're not leaving it to the retailers to figure out their own way of how they're going to do this. We're actually figuring it out and giving them a built-in solution to be able to do it themselves. So Audrey, what did you think of this article?
Yeah, I mean, it's really sort of the next phase in I think for Instacart, but for any similar gap filling business. So, these Instacarts are these time savers, these kind of convenient services that are, what people are using them to, instead of you going to the grocery store, it's fulfilling your need. But now we're starting to see the impact on the actual distribution and process at the store itself, at the retailer level. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of adopt, incorporate, and collaborate with these tools. But the one point in this article that said experts say retailers are so far struggling to see the gains and productivity and margins that vendors have promised, which could make those retailers more likely to just offload. Right. So instead of keeping, like they might be working on a design, working on a system, and it's like, this is not really coming together. When you see something like an Instacart just kind of crop up with like, we can do this, this, and this for you. It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
that's kind of enticing, especially after a really hard year for retailers and grocery stores, just to be like, yeah, you can solve my problem. So they're doing the same thing as we are. I don't want to go get my groceries. I don't want to build my own fulfillment center. So
It's so true. It's so true. And Kasif says 18 years experience
yeah.
in warehousing and logistics. So Kasif, I'd love to hear your thoughts after you read this article. Let
Mhm.
us know in the comments what your thoughts are about this article, because this is where we're going. And if organizations are not on the automation and robotics bandwidth, you know, then I don't know where we're going to stand, because they're looking to do this very, very quickly. And again, this is only the first phase and they're implementing it within the next 6 months. So I think it's just going to be crazy if companies are not going to get on board. But I think there's also still some testing when it comes to automation and robotics. that needs to be done. And so I think a lot of people are going to watch Instacart and see what they're going to do and see how it's going to work out. And I think there's going to be some new innovation and new ideas coming out of it as well.
Yeah. It's tricky though, because if you don't get in sometimes adopting these new technologies, you can quickly, it can seem like you're quickly falling behind.
It's true. It's true. So Peter has posted a link to a unicorn floaty. But apparently it's too big for him. So if anybody else has a link, let him know. I also want to say hi to Kelvin from Zambia. He has joined us over on my personal LinkedIn page, and we've got a really great conversation going on over there as well. So our next article, Sarah Scudder, if you're still there, you're going to love this article, because we're talking about Lego going green. Now, at the top of this article, they were saying, they were asking if they can make Legos a little bit less deadly. Like if you step on them, they really hurt your feet. But that's not what this article is all about. It's about how they are making Legos from plastic bottles. So what they're talking about is they have tested 250 plus formulations to get to this, which is crazy to me. I mean, that is intention and that is commitment, right?
150 person team, 3 years.
Yeah, I know. It's taken a lot of people to get to this point. And what they're saying is 1 liter plastic bottles equals 10 2x4 Lego bricks. And normal Lego bricks, they haven't quite tested this on the new Lego bricks, but the old Lego bricks can withstand 950 pounds of force or the weight of 375,000 blocks on top of it, which I thought was crazy. I was like, wow. So I can only imagine what they're going to do as far as testing when it comes to these new Lego pieces made out of plastic. But I would hope and assume after 250 plus formulations that it's going to be kind of the same. And I think the other really cool thing is that they're going to invest $400 million through 2022 on sustainability.
Yeah.
Guys, that's 18 months of time. That's not looking at 2025 or 2030 like a lot of people are thinking. They're talking about $400 million in the next 18 months. I mean, it just blew my mind, this article. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it really shows that Lego it's not like a greenwashing thing. It's not we're saying we're getting, we're going to be sustainable. It's they've had a plan. They've been working away at it. And like you said at the beginning, intentional. It's intentional. It's mindful. It's taking into account a lot of pieces. I think the best part is that last year they said they were going to start eliminating single-use plastics, which if you haven't listened to that episode 216 with Sarah Scudder already, you learn a lot about single-use plastics and how bad they are. So at any point that we can start reusing plastic bottles, I think they're just using what they've got at hand in a really, intentional way. And I can't wait to get a new Lego set.
I know, right? And they come out with some really cool ones. I mean, Larry's got some really cool ones. Larry's background. I mean, he's got some very, very, very cool Lego sets. I like the Friends one, but I'm going to have to wait until they come out with these new sustainable Lego pieces to actually dive into that one. Although when I'm over with my nephews, I do build Legos. I try to build houses and stuff like that, but it's okay.
It doesn't sometimes happen.
Not the greatest. That's why I'm not an architect.
Not an architect, apparently.
So Peter says Mayor of Montreal has re-upped her commitment to eliminating single-use plastics by 2023. See, that's getting better. I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the commitments that are coming out, and they're saying 2025, 2030. Yeah. We need some commitments that are a little bit sooner than that, because obviously we all know what is happening.
It's got to be fast and furious. Let's just make it happen.
Davin says, I literally just bought my first set in years. I had to buy the Jeep. Yes, you did. And when you make it, we would like to see a picture of it in the comments of Thoughts and Coffee once you're done.
Yeah.
And we've got Imitaz, 18 months sounds too good to be true. However, other corporations should have these short-term goals. So they're not actually saying what they're committing to. They're putting a dollar amount on the next 18 months of what they're going to commit to their sustainability efforts, which I think is great. Although you're right, we should hear some goals of that 400 million and where it's going to be spent. Okay, so next up is I took a picture of this. I was watching HLN yesterday morning, and this came up on HLN. It's not a very good picture. My apologies. But they're talking about the shipping container crisis and how it's putting a pinch on holiday toys. And the 3 reasons why they put as the shortage was 1, raw materials cost more. And what I wanted to shout at the TV was, if you can find them, right? The other one is lack of workers, which is true. We're seeing a shortage of talent, and that's what's going to come up in our next article as well, and lack of shipping containers. So nothing here actually talks about the fact that it takes 6 weeks to get on an actual vessel and that it's costing $20,000 just to move a container.
Yeah. The lack of shipping containers was doing a lot of work. You're like, there's
a few more reasons than that. And this next article does describe some of those reasons. And I loved this article because they talk about this guy who has a fireplace company or something like that. Yeah. And he was talking about how his container was lost for 78 days in the Chicago rail yard. Yeah. So not only are you're competing against manufacturing issues, you're competing against trying to get on a vessel, you're competing against all of the money that it's costing you to move by ocean freight, and then your container sits in the Chicago rail yard for 78 days? I mean, come on. Audrey.
Yeah. Oh, it's been like that. And it's random because like he might have had 2 other containers that like came through okay. That's the fun part, is that it's like, surprise, this one thing hits every single bad checkpoint.
Good to see you, Nick. And then the other thing that I want to ask you is, in this article, he says that everything is GPS tagged. So he doesn't understand why his container was there for 78 days. I don't think everything's GPS tagged. I mean, I think we're still far away from that. So he's right?
Yeah. Maybe he meant all of his stuff is GPS tagged, but not everything's GPS tagged. That's not.
Maybe. No. Gotcha. But part of the challenge with this is that companies are ordering more. This article talks about how companies are ordering more because they're hoping some of it arrives on time, especially for the holiday season. But that to me is going to create even more waste. And so we're really not doing ourselves the justice from a sustainability standpoint, as well as, just having excess of product and excess of inventory.
Well, and retailers, it's still a mass produce and hope that customers buy it, but you're moving a bunch of stuff over that you don't actually know people are going to buy. And the end result is landfill. Like it's like it either goes to the customer or it goes to landfill. So the sustainability piece is massive, and we still don't see retailers doing sort of a pre-order model or any sort of like measurement of what you're.
Oh, she froze on me. Okay. Well, I'm going to actually talk a little bit about 2 things. So I think you should go and check out this article. A couple of things that they say on here is that Long Beach moved 907,000 containers in May, which is the highest since 1995. And Savannah moved 5.3 million, which is a huge, huge, huge record. Honeywell is blaming supply chain for a revenue hit of 200 million. And P&G is talking about a $1.9 billion after-tax hit because of supply chain issues. And so consumer pricing has gone up in June by 5.4%, and that is going up even more. And if you haven't bought your holiday If you haven't done your holiday shopping yet, and we've been talking about this a lot, you need to go and do it for sure. And as far as pricing around containers, he says that pre-COVID, a 40-foot container would hold 79 fireplaces and cost $4,500. Now at $20,000, each fireplace is costing $200 more. So just to give you an idea of what's going to happen with consumer pricing, is that obviously with these numbers, totally going up. So anyways, we've got just under 15 seconds. Audrey, you froze, but I'm glad that you're back. Thank you so much for everybody who joined us today. We have had some amazing conversations on both Let's Talk Supply Chain and my personal. And so we're going to have a winner by, I think we're going to announce it next week, maybe, or the week after. And I can't wait to see who's going to win the mug. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Have an amazing week ahead, and we will see you next week